Hi, this is Fuad Abasov, a broker with Right at Home Realty. I would like to wish you all a happy new year, bursting with exciting and fulfilling opportunities. May this new year bring you peace, happiness, and prosperity. And remember, if opportunity doesn't knock, build the door. And this is your last year's monthly real estate statistics. Throughout 2022, Toronto's real estate market felt the ripple effects of continued demand, historic sales prices, low inventory, sky-high rents, and high borrowing rates. Looking back at the last couple of years, we see that buyers' migration to small towns and rural areas was undoubtedly at play, mainly due to remote and hybrid work settings factor. In 2021, many employees were provided with permanent remote work. This allowed buyers to separate themselves from city centers or inner suburbs and migrate to farther areas. Zoom towns became the boom towns through to March of 2022. In fact, we're seeing home prices slightly increase in December in comparison to November all across GTA and surrounding areas. As of today, we've got some affordable home prices that we've seen in the last couple of years. On the other hand, rising interest rates are affecting buyers' ability to qualify for the mortgage amount they need. In my opinion, and of course if qualified, one should rather purchase a property today at a cheaper price with a higher interest rate and wait for rates to go down, while real estate prices go up in the future. Moreover, Canada with its immigration policies stand out from the rest of the world. More people are coming and they all need a place to live. As per CREA, Canadian Real Estate Association, a benchmark price of a home in Ontario, which combines sale prices of condominiums, attached and detached homes, peaked at $1.08 million in March of 2022. It was a staggering 64% increase in just 2 years. Since then, prices fell by nearly 20%. While some could argue this was a major drop, it only brought prices back to the level they were in September of 2021. Will it go even lower? With the number of homes bought and sold monthly nowadays, it is lower than it's been per capita since the mid-90s. Now, let's take a closer look at detached home sale prices in Toronto and surrounding areas. In Toronto, an average selling price of detached home in December has not changed compared to November, and is sitting at $1.57 million, 7% lower than it was in December of last year. The amount of sold properties went down by 50%, the amount of new listings went down by 29%. It takes 24 days for the home to be sold in Toronto. In the city of Vaughan, an average selling price of detached home in December was $2.1 million. The amount of sold properties compared to December of last year went down by 56%. The amount of new listings went down by 30%. It takes on average 29 days for a detached home to be sold in Vaughan as of today. Richmond Hill, an average detached home sale price was $1.87 million in December, slightly higher than it was in November, 8% lower than it was in December of last year. The amount of sold properties went down by 57%, the amount of new listings went down by 42%. On average, it takes 27 days for a detached home to be sold in Richmond Hill today. In Mississauga, an average selling price of detached home was up by $30,000 compared to November and is sitting at $1.48 million today. Compared to December of last year, prices went down by almost 18%, the amount of sold properties are down by 54%, and amount of new listings are down by 14%. It takes on average 26 days for a detached home to be sold in Mississauga today. In Markham, an average selling price was up by $40,000 compared to November and is sitting at $1.79 million in December. Compared to December of last year, the average selling price was down by 6.5%. The amount of sold properties was down by 50%. The amount of new listings was down by 37%. It takes on average 18 days for a detached home to be sold in Markham today. Same as everywhere else, in Newmarket, an average detached home sale price was up compared to November and is sitting at $1.33 million today. It's down compared to December of last year by 8.5%. The amount of sold properties are down by 31%, but the amount of new listings went up by 5.5%. It takes on average 30 days for a detached home to be sold in Newmarket today. In Aurora, compared to November, prices went down slightly and are sitting at $1.41 million for a detached home. Compared to December of last year, we're down by 15% on average selling price. The amount of sold properties were down by 43%, and the amount of new listings were also down by 15%. It takes on average 17 days for a house to be sold in Aurora today. Selling price of detached home in Innisfil in December was $740,000, lower than it was in November and 40% lower than it was in December of last year. The amount of sold properties were down by 27%, the amount of new listings was actually up by 37.5%. It takes 38 days on average for a detached home to be sold in Innisfil today. In Bradford, an average selling price of detached home went up compared to November and is sitting at $1.26 million, the same amount as it was in December of last year. The amount of sold properties was down by 68%, the amount of new listings was also down by 30%. It takes on average 30 days for a detached home to be sold in Bradford as of today. Average selling price of detached home in Milton was down compared to November and is sitting at $1.39 million, 11.4% decrease compared to December of last year. The amount of sold properties was down by 23%, the amount of new listings was down by 38%. It takes on average 38 days for a detached home to be sold in Milton today. Average selling price in Stoufville in December was $1.39 million, a 38% decrease compared to December of last year. The amount of sold properties was down by 48%, the amount of new listings was down by 16%. It takes 24 days for a detached home to be sold in Stoufville as of today. An average selling price of detached home in Barrie in December was $825,000, slightly higher than it was in November, however, 14% lower than it was in December of last year. The amount of sold properties was down by 53%, the amount of new listings was also down by 15%. It takes on average 25 days for a detached home to be sold in Barrie as of today. There is no question that housing affordability has shut out first-time buyers with the rise in interest rates and home prices. Potential first-time buyers also face a rise in rental costs, making it challenging to save for a down payment. As the market settles, so will the record-breaking appreciation homeowners have been spoiled with. Although this will feel like a pullback or loss in value, when really it is just normalizing and will provide opportunities for buyers to make more logical choices when making offers on homes. If you'd like to receive your own personalized sales reports about home sales on your street or in the neighborhood, please call me at 647-801-3401 or email me at sold@fuadhomes.com. Thanks for watching and see you next month.